Dr. Jack Kevorkian died today. In life, he'd become known for one thing, dying, specifically helping people to do it and getting attention for doing it for himself and for the cause. He was a cottage industry, a media machine. He kept reporters and lawyers employed, and after all, Al Pacino played him in the movie. The man who became known as Dr. Death died of natural causes, of all things, at a hospital in Royal Oak, Michigan, at the age of 83. We thought we would have our chief medical editor, Dr. Nancy Snyderman, here tonight to talk about life and legacy here. We had a boisterous meeting on this subject in our newsroom today. I made the point that a controlled death is something not talked about publicly, but talked about all the time between physicians and members of the family. And what Kevorkian did by adding the machinery, the funnels, the tubes, his death machine, to some made it a comical exercise.
Well, I think you could say that he became a caricature of himself, and some people would say downright vulgar. But that idea that a patient who's dying and a doctor have an understanding that sometimes there are things worse than death and that patients shouldn't suffer. Doctors, of course, quietly medicate patients knowing that that might put them into a deep, deep, deep sleep. And it's done on a very, very deep basis. And I would have to say, as a cancer surgeon, many times I'm dismayed that we treat our animals when they're suffering better than we treat human beings. But he missed the golden opportunity, Kevorkian did, because of the media circus. And the real discussion about death and dying with dignity, that's, I think, what we should have done. And when he addressed the court, very indignantly saying, do you see me as a murderer? He really wanted to stand his ground. But in that circus and in that frenzy, I think the whole idea of dignity with death got lost. And I hope, if anything, it brings us back full circle to address just those things.
That's exactly what we want to talk about tonight. Dr. Nancy Snyder.